Yo, what's up, you guys? Welcome to my most anticipated video. I've been excited for this video. I hope you guys were too. We are going to review the episode Invasion today. So, Invasion is a crossover in the arrowverse, and it is the very first crossover between the TV shows of Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. So we begin in Star Labs. Now, this isn't really where the episode truly begins. The episode truly begins with a flash forward like 10 hours earlier. But yeah, it begins in Star Labs with Wally just getting his powers a couple of episodes ago with alchemy and becoming the Kid Flash. So it starts with them testing out his powers and everything, and yeah, just checking his vitals, all the usual stuff they do. And H.R. Wells actually has a really funny bit whenever he goes he's talking to Barry, Cisco, and Caitlin about opening Star Labs to the world, and they're just asking him all these questions, and he has this just crazy idea. And so the crossover truly starts when Cisco Ramon actually senses what he suspects is a meteor coming towards Earth. So Barry runs to go check this meteor out, but it is in fact not a meteor. It is an alien spaceship. So yeah, there's aliens inside this spaceship. There's like 15 or 16 aliens that run out. Barry is just so shocked and so he's just so in shock by these aliens that he doesn't even try to fight them. And so this is when Barry decides to go to Star City in order to get the Oliver Queen or the Arrow's help with what they're doing. At this point in the crossover, Arrow and John Diggle, or Spartan, as he calls himself, are going after a vigilante that they've been dealing with for a couple of episodes. We don't exactly know his identity yet, but yeah, they're going after a vigilante. They're in battle with him, and as he shoots at them, that's when Barry runs in and gets John and Oliver out of the way. Prior to this, in Arrow, we learn that Felicity actually has an apartment, so yeah, Barry takes John and Oliver there, and there he debriefs them about the aliens, and we get this very funny scene of John throwing up over the balcony onto the floor of Star City, yeah, I just really enjoy the comedy in these episodes, almost as much as I enjoy the drama. I mean, yeah, the drama is great, but you don't really have that oomph with the drama if you don't have a little bit of fun and comedy behind it. Because in the end, general audiences know this is a superhero show. I mean, yes, I take it a little bit more seriously than they do, but so you don't get bored of the same thing happening over and over again and all this action and no break just to stop and laugh in the action. So really enjoy this comedy. Let's get back to the story. should overhear this conversation than the queen herself, Thea Queen. Now, I know that was a really bad pun, but yes, Thea does overhear the conversation with Barry, John, and Felicity, and Oliver. Yeah, Oliver's in this conversation too, about the aliens, and she wants to go help and suit up once again as Speedy to go fight the Dominators. The Dominators are the aliens in this episode. If I haven't mentioned that already, those are the names of the aliens. That's what they call them. Yeah, so Thea overhears this, and they go to a secret Star Labs base or little garage that Barry and supposedly Harrison Wells built also, or maybe with the money that Harrison Wells gave him when he loaned him Star Labs. But yeah, the gist is there's a garage in the back of Star Labs, like a secret garage that Barry keeps there in case of emergencies. So Oliver and Barry are back in this laboratory, and he's debriefing them on what he saw with the aliens. Like, he was telling them that he saw aliens before, but now he's just like putting the whole situation out to them in the garage. And when Oliver hears about this, he says, I have some friends I can call, and they call themselves the Legends. So Oliver calls in Sarah Lance, and she debriefs the Legends of what's going on, and that the friends need their help back in 2016. So they take the ship, the Wave Rider, and take it to Oliver's point that he said to meet him, their rendezvous point at the back of Star Labs, so the Star Labs facility that Barry and Oliver are at. So the Legends hop out, they get debriefed on what's going on, and Barry says, this is great and all, but I have one more friend I want to call. That friend, of course, is none other than Carla Danvers herself, Supergirl. Now, she's from an alternate dimension in this show, and Barry has traveled across dimensions before, so he has Cisco help him to be able to get to Carla Danvers' dimension, and he brings Carla back and debriefs Carla on what's going on, and then all of the heroes go and kind of split into little groups so that they can train. And what I really like about this is that none of the Legends go together, none of the Arrowverse characters, none of the Arrowverse, the whole Arrowverse, none of the Arrow characters go together. No two characters from the same show go together. Barry and Oliver do go together, and we have seen them together before, but we do get to see Oliver and Barry interact with all these other characters too, which is cool. In my opinion, one of the best interactions we got are with Supergirl, because we haven't really seen Supergirl interact with any of these heroes other than Barry before, because the Legends, they all were from other shows. The Legends of Tomorrow, if you guys haven't seen the Arrowverse, is kind of like the Avengers of the Arrowverse shows. It's like all different characters from spread out shows coming together, but I digress. Let's get back to the episode. They all go off and train with one another, and Martin and Jefferson pull Barry and Oliver aside to show them a message that they found in an earlier episode where it basically says, be careful because you're gonna die in a battle soon. And they believe that because this battle is so big in scale that this is the battle they're gonna die in. So this is why they show Barry and Oliver this, and they believe this is a result of Flashpoint, which is when in an earlier episode Barry went back in time and changed time and affected the timeline. That's all that Flashpoint is whenever I say Flashpoint. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it. So yeah, a big Flashpoint is a big integral plot point in these 3 episodes. So because I don't want this video to get too long, I'm really just going to state main points now. I've really just been going beat by beat this episode so that you guys really understand the beginning of the plot of this episode, but really now you guys understand the gist of the episode. The Dominators are on Earth, and they've come to attack. So yeah, that's really all they're doing for really the rest of like 5 minutes is just training. The rest of the episode until like the last part is them training. So let's skip to the last part. After they're done training and everything, they go to this warehouse and find a machine there that they try to shut down, but it ends up corrupting the minds of everyone except for Barry and Oliver. Barry and Oliver begin to fight back against their friends that are corrupted by the machine, and it's a pretty epic battle until Barry tricks Kara into going back into the warehouse and using her laser vision to destroy the machine and destroy the signal that was corrupting them. At this point is when the Dominators decide to get hands-on, and they take up all of the heroes except for Barry and Kara and put them into their UFO. So this is the end of the episode of The Flash and the beginning of the episode of Arrow. So this is the second episode in the Invasion storyline. So really all this episode is, at the beginning part, is Oliver and Thea and Sarah and Ray in this amazing, perfect world where none of their loved ones died. None of their loved ones died. Oliver never got on that boat. That's the big difference. Oliver never got on the boat. No one died. Laurel didn't. His mom didn't. Not even his dad. So this is just a perfect world for them. And while that is going on, obviously Kara and Barry are trying to get their friends out of the UFO. And with the help of Felicity and Team Arrow, they find out that they need another part to do this. So they go to a scientist in Star City, and try to get the part from them. So that's what Kara, Barry, and Team Arrow are up to while Kara, Barry, and Team Arrow are up to while the rest of Team Arrow is up on the UFO along with the Legends. I forgot to mention in the Flash episode was that Wally is pissed off at Iris and Joe because they will not let him go out to be Kid Flash. So, back on track here, Team Arrow decides that this fantasy is not worth it because it is not real, so they all decide to go back to Earth. So, yeah, they go back to reality, and now they're on their way back to Earth when they get picked up by Vixen and Citizen Steel find them on the Wave Rider. And at this point is when the heroes, the legends, and Team Arrow find out that the Dominators are headed towards Earth with an armada of ships. So before I start talking about the final episode in Invasion, the Legends of Tomorrow episode, I have to explain a little bit of something that happened in Season 3, the beginning of Season 3 of The Flash. So, Barry had a mother and a father who his mother died when he was a child at the hands of the first Harrison Wells, the Reverse Flash, and his father went to prison for her murder. And then, so after this, Barry decides at the end of Season 2, when he learns that he can time travel, to go back and save his mother, but in doing this, he created an alternate reality of sorts, and then that reality, he was losing his memory, so he went to a different reality that was much closer to the reality that he was in before, but with some small key differences. And one of those differences was that the Dominators would eventually die, so the race would eventually go out. And that was not in the timeline before Barry did Flashpoint, which is what the time traveling little shenanigan was called. So, yeah, that's kind of the thing I needed to explain before this episode started. So let's get into this episode. So ever since Cisco learned that his brother Dante died because of Flashpoint, he has been completely pissed off at Barry. He has just not been talking to him. He's only been professional, and you can tell that he was very pissed off at Barry because of him causing this by Flashpoint. And there were multiple other things that went wrong, like John Diggle had a daughter before Flashpoint, but now instead he has a son. And Supergirl was not affected by Flashpoint whatsoever. Reason being, she is in another universe, so she could not have been affected because her universe is in a different timeline than Barry's is. So all that talk about Flashpoint was because the Dominators are mad at Barry because of Flashpoint, their race now goes extinct. So they want Barry dead. But before the Dominators kill Barry, they have to make him change the timeline. So the Dominators demand Barry's presence, and then they'll take every ship they have back to their home planet with Barry, and they'll torture him until he changes Flashpoint. And Barry is completely on board with this idea. He wants to go with the Dominators so that he can save the lives of millions. It's kind of that one life over a million lives kind of thing. But luckily for him, Barry is not the only guy who has a shady past. Oliver Queen the Green Arrow does too. So he is not on board with Barry going for this because he knows he's gonna die and he really cares about Barry. So at this point in the episode, Supergirl is very mad at Oliver because she feels that he's being very distant with her. She feels like he's not letting her letting her live up to her potential, and this is because that's just Oliver's personality. He's very distant with people, and Barry tries to explain to her this, but yeah, she's just not having it. She's mad at Oliver at this point. Cisco and Felicity go back with the Legends into 1955, where the Dominators first showed up, so that they can find out what they were planning then. And I told you guys what their plan was earlier, but that's a little bit later in the episode when they find that out. Anyway, Felicity and Cisco are sitting together on the ship, and this is the point when Felicity eases Cisco's feelings on Flashpoint. She said, "Listen, Barry was just trying to save his family. You gotta understand that." And by the end of the conversation, Cisco does forgive Barry. So here we are. The end of the episode. Every single hero versus the Dominators. So the Legends, Arrow, Supergirl, and the Flash against an armada of Dominators, because they obviously decide not to hand Barry over to them. And so Cisco, Ramon, and Sarah Lance take the Wave Rider up to a bomb to stop a bomb that the Dominators made. They find they cannot stop this bomb, so they decide to just fly it up into space where it can't hurt anything else. So they are able to do that, and they land back on Earth where the battle against the Dominators is going on. So they finish off the Dominators and more fly in. So they have to find a way to stop the Dominators, and this is when Supergirl and Flash go around the world to stop the bombs from being exploded on the rest of the planet. So Supergirl goes one way, Flash goes the other, and they stop all the bombs from being detonated. And so they stop all the bombs, and at this point is when the Dominators retreat. And we begin the episode's finale. So all of the heroes say goodbye to each other, and Supergirl is given a dimensional portal so that she can travel between dimensions, so that she can come to the dimension of the Arrow and the Flash when in the Legends whenever she pleases and needs their help. And yeah, the Flash and the Arrow go get a drink with one another, and they just hang out and talk. And Sarah leaves, and along with all the other Legends, of course, all the other Legends leave. Sarah and the Legends leave, and that is the conclusion of our episode. So, final thoughts. I really enjoyed this episode. It felt like a very respectful team up between all of these shows and all of the directors of these shows. If it's not the same directors of all the shows, they really do work well with each other and correlate well with one another. And that's not just with this episode. This is throughout the Arrowverse, because they have so many things that happen, like Flashpoint. That happened in The Flash, but something had to affect the timeline, either in the Arrow or Legends of Tomorrow, and they chose Arrow by making John's daughter a son. And I really do hope that the Arrowverse goes on for much longer, and I hope that it just keeps getting better, because at this point everyone is saying that it is going downhill. So I think I'm still in the good territory right now, because even though the Arrow season 4 was pretty boring, I'm pretty sure I'm in season 5 now and it's getting better. So hopefully it stays like this, hopefully. And yeah, and whatever bad or rotten territory Arrow, The Flash, and Supergirl may be in right now, I hope that they are able to build themselves up again to be better. Legends isn't getting much hate. Legends is getting all the good reviews, and because it really knows what it is. Just a fun little action time travel show. But yes, I do enjoy the Arrowverse, and this is going to be my last. This isn't going to be my last Arrowverse video, but this is the end of my Arrowverse series of videos. So next, I'm going to be talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. So yeah, you guys already seen my top 10 Marvel heroes, so there'll be more videos coming out about Marvel soon. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Did take a while to make, but it's all worth it for you guys.